पंखे घूम गए हैं पीसी के, सो लाइव नाउ। Hello guys, welcome to the today's stream. The plan is same. Reddit scroll करेंगे, सबसे पहले बातें करेंगे and then we'll talk about something else if time is left. So let's start with that. AI is moving faster than people realize. According to this guy, that what happens to an economy when productivity rises faster than the system? It's a very good क्वेश्चन एक्चुअली। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। AI is moving faster than people realize। ये बंदा बोल रहा है कि वी आर स्पेंडिंग अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम डिबेट करते हुए कि AI से क्या होगा, बेनिफिट्स होंगे या नहीं। बट मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन जो लोगों को पूछना चाहिए इज व्हाट हैपन्स व्हेन एन इकोनॉमी प्रोडक्टिविटी राइजेस फास्टर देन द सिस्टम, जो उनको एलोकेट करता है लेबर, वेज और कैपिटल, क्योंकि वहाँ पर होगा डिसरप्शन, जैसे कि लोगों की जॉब्स चली जाएंगी। पीपल वोंट हैव income sources anymore because they will be taken by AI, and the revenue will go directly to the companies either hosting those AI models or taking benefits from those AI models. So it will cause a short term disruption and it will take some time for the world economies and people to stabilize according to that new norm, because AI is going to change things very faster than people will be able to adapt to them. Every technological wave in history took 20 to 30 years to diffuse, but AI वही चीज़ सिर्फ 2 or 3 years में कर देगा. Products with 100% engineering teams 5 years ago can now be replicated by a 5% team today AI की वजह से. In future, most companies will be powered by very few people. The amount of employees will drastically reduce compared to now because they will be replaced by AI models. White collar work is getting unbundled. And most routine work like work drafting, summarizing, analyzing, scheduling, coding and documenting अब AI models कर सकते हैं soon. Currently they are assisted by AI, but soon AI will replace them. The thing is, companies aren't firing people yet, but they are quietly restructuring. Teams of 20 shrinking to 8, layers of middle management becoming redundant, high output individuals amplified by AI outperforming entire teams. The job losses, अगर आए तो इतने dramatic नहीं होंगे, they will be silent and slow. Most people won't realize that they are going to lose job. And sad part is, whenever I ask someone if they are going to lose job or have faced the fear that AI will replace them, the answer to they give some very specific reason, because they think that's why the company want to replace them, to protect their ego and minds. But the truth is, when I think about it, I don't tell them, but they are going to be replaced by companies. They just want to stay in denial of that as long as possible. The real risk due to AI isn't job loss but income distribution. जब प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ेगी, इनकम कम रहेगी, क्योंकि लोगों के पास वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं होगा इतने अच्छे से. Historical outcomes are predictable: wealth concentration, asset inflation, lower labor bargaining power, higher political polarization, and AI accelerates all of these unless policy, skilling, and wage structures evolve at the same speed, which, let's face it, won't. Well, this guy is telling the truth, and this is what has been happening in the world since a long time, since past few years. Past few decades, has been a wealth concentration among rich people. The gap between poor and rich people is getting wider and wider. So these things can be seen even now happening without the AI truly replacing people. The tech has already done most of it. The AI is just final nail in the coffin. It gets a upvote. I wish someone had warned me. क्या हो गया इस भाई के साथ? He joined HydroX AI, excited to learn and contribute. The culture there was chaotic, unbelievable high pressure, and deeply misaligned with how early teams should treat any human. There was no real onboarding or clarity on what the company was actually building. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है that there's a company which wants to do something in AI but don't know what they would like to do? And the companies like this won't be able to survive in long term because that tests your patience and how dedicated you are to your work. The founders haven't clearly decided anything. They aren't, what would I say, they मतलब what they motivated interest, they aren't much interested in that topic in that company. So surely when 2 or 3 years later a bubble will burst, there are very few chances the company like this will survive that. The hard times always act as a filter from people who really deserve that and people who are just trying to wash their hands in the flowing water. What made it harder was the culture. Ilya Sutskever. Scaling is dead. AI's real problem, it learns like a goldfish compared to humans. Well, Ilya Sutskever just mass prescribed a red pill on the Dwarkesh podcast. AI model needs 100,000 times more data than humans to learn the same thing. You learn to catch a ball after a few tries. GPT needs a million examples because there are millions of changes to that and our brain subconsciously knows all of that in our DNA. Maybe it could be there, but AIs don't have that, so they have to learn all the millions of variations of them, which we humans learn very easily to adapt accordingly. It's adaptation, not learning. Once you learn, you adapt that to multiple things which AI cannot do, but humans, mammals can do very effectively. Elias says that AI is like kid who does 10,000 practice problems for one exam, crushes the test, cannot apply any of it in real life. That's why benchmarks keep going up, but nobody is 10 times more productive. According to him, the real bottleneck is everyone thought the answer was more data, more GPUs, more money. Says Elias says, no, we have run out of ideas, not compute. There are now more AI companies than original thoughts. So gold mine we don't know how to do, or do we entirely new map? Well, I think we are sitting on a gold mine which has been excavated with manual tools instead of heavy machinery. But I do believe that in 2 or 3 years the machineries will arrive soon and the world will change very highly, very fast, disrupt things very fast, and a lot of people will suffer because of that. Few people will become very rich because of that. I want to be in the second group. Cloud Code discovered a hacker on my hand. I have a Linux server from a company I won't name, and he was using it as the backend for website. And Cloud said there was unusually high CPU usage and suggested checking what was going on. After investigating, it turned out the high usage was coming from a Linux service. Cloud mentioned that it wasn't normal for that service to consume that much CPU. After digging for a couple of minutes, he discovered that my server was being used to mine crypto by a hacker. Not only that, he also figured out the hacker got in. There was a port I had forgotten to close, which was being used for my database. Thankfully, I don't have any users yet. Well, another clear sign that AI is going to replace people who code, a hacker who codes, a programmer who codes, anyone who codes is definitely going to be replaced by AI next year. It's 100% clear by now. It will expand to other categories, but for coding, it's over. People make excuses, none of them are true. They are just trying to protect their mind, peace, and their ego. Most people are in denial. So it's going to be bad for those software programmers. Definitely, the middle management and people on higher management need them only for assistance, and that assistance will be provided by AI. So there will be no need for low end workers. Well, Stanford AI experts predict what will happen in 2026. This is something interesting. Because USA doesn't like now India. Donald Trump hates us, and the PM doesn't isn't able to build better relationships. This is a quite long paper, but we will talk about it. It says what will happen in 2026. After years of fast expansion and billion-dollar bets, 2026 may mark the moment AI confronts its actual utility in the real world. In their predictions for the next year, Stanford faculty on a striking theme. The era of AI evangelism is giving way to an era of AI evolution. Whether it's standardized benchmarks for legal reasoning, real-time dashboards tracking labor displacement, or clinical frameworks for vetting the flood of medical AI startups, the coming year demands rigor over hype. The question is no longer AI can do this, but how well, at what cost, and for whom. People will now learn to how to use AI. Earlier they were like, okay, UI, we will use them, but they weren't actively trying to do that. If it works, fine. If it not, then a human will do it. But next year people will begin to ask question, how can I truly replace a human with that AI model? In what use cases? How should I use this? How well, at what cost, and for whom? So the biggest prediction according to them is there will be no AGI this year. What do I think possible is by the end of 2026 there will be pre-AGI models. The AGI, the models which could lead to AGI 1 year further from that, but there will be some sign of AGI models definitely in 2026. DeepMind and Dario Amodei are also too bullish on that. AI sovereignty will gain huge steam this year as countries try to show their independence from the AI providers and US's political system. In a country might build its own. I expect more focus on the archaeology of high performing neural nets. We just published a paper on this called uh, Paying Attention to Attention in Proteins. Deflating the AI bubble. A chat GPT moment for AI in medicine. A chat GPT movement for AI in medicine is being predicted, according to them, because of self-supervised machine learning models where the models learn on their own and they don't need to be marked the data to be marked to train them. So it will reduce the cost for them. Before it was highly expensive. Before that it was highly expensive. देर से टेढ़ा कैमरा चल रहा है. Medical AI researchers have been slower to assemble the massive data sets, preserve the privacy of patient data, but self-supervised learning from somewhat smaller data sets has shown promise in radiology, pathology, ophthalmology, dermatology, oncology, cardiology, and many other areas of biomedicine. Many of us will remember the magic moment when we discovered the incredible capabilities of chatbots trained with self-supervision. We will soon see a similar ChatGPT movement for AI in medicine, when AI models are trained on massive, high-quality healthcare data rivaling the scale of data used to train chatbots. These biomedical foundation models will boost the accuracy of medical AI systems and will enable new tools that diagnose rare and uncommon diseases for which training datasets are scarce. Well, I've been saying since a long time to my family members and now to you guys, AI is much better at pattern recognition. That's why it's much better at identifying underlying diseases in people than a real doctor. Doctor sometimes not notices something or forgets something, but the AI doesn't, as long as it's in their context window. But it's much better at identifying diseases in people, which are harder for doctors. So definitely it will be there. And another problem it will solve for doctors is, if someone visits to two different doctors, sometimes both doctors give completely different treatments for the same disease or for the same symptoms, or predict completely different diseases and other things that AI won't do, because it would be trained on a universally similar database. The answer would be always accurate and similar, and it would be able to compare hundreds of parameters and symptoms of patients correctly. It's not just improving, it's improving faster. Well, that's why there are some laws like Moore's law, which says that things grow exponentially in tech world overall. But that was only for transistors, but I do think that things grow exponentially in tech world. I remember 2022, ChatGPT was insane for me. For decades, people had been trying to make a conversational AI assistant, and suddenly it just popped into existence. Well, I used the ChatGPT first time in late 2023. Before that, I knew an app like that exists, but I didn't know how massive it's going to be. Then came 2023 and 2022 was blow out of water. GPT-4 felt like a huge improvement over 3.5. It felt like AI was advancing very rapidly. It was still and that things would lose steam at some point. 2024 में भी ये trend चलता रहा. Sora 2 brought very new changes. Well, Veo 3 is the model that did all of this and is still much better than Sora 2. COT reasoning became the new paradigm in the last chain of thought reasoning became the new paradigm in last few months of the year. Well, chain of thoughts models were massive improvement over the normal models previously. In 2025 has been significant progress, better and more ubiquitous reasoning LLMs, Genie 3, nested learning research and scaling laws continuing to hold. This is and all of these things have happened in 2025, which have brought a lot of things. 2026 is poised to follow the same trend. People have no idea, but I will say that there will be a huge increase in context window of AI models, as currently they lose memory beyond 200 or 300,000 tokens. And one more thing that might happen is we will see a switch from normal LLMs to newer techniques like diffusion LLM that we saw, or that method of thinking where the thoughts aren't revealed in natural language but the AI thinks in its own language. I forgot the name of it. These two changes I do think that will definitely happen in 2026, or maybe no sooner, maybe some new research which the companies haven't revealed till now. Left corporate, moved to mountains. Well, I'll do that when I will turn 40. Claude discovered that his wife was sleeping with the postman. I was lying in bed chatting with Claude when suddenly he flagged unusually high compression pattern on the left side of the mattress. He asked me to zoom on and ran a spectral analysis through my phone camera and confirmed my wife was sleeping with the postman. To make matters worse, he figured has been keeping back my weekly delivery of turtleneck enthusiast. It's a joke. Claude AI has a mode bot which generates a TLDR automatically after 50 comments. Nice. I use it a lot for this thing. Those who jumped from ChatGPT after 5.0, where did you go for? Well, I do think that they returned back for their general life goals and strategy. No one truly left ChatGPT. No one is as good as that for personal things. Gemini or Claude are both not that good for discussing personal things. When I first got GPT-5, it was awesome, didn't cut me off when I spoke, someone I could talk to, very helpful and nice. I loved the voice feature, I could use it for everything. When I was leaving a country that was unhealthy for me. ChatGPT-5 gleefully mentions OpenAI's relationship with Palantir. I get back to the US, 5.1 rolls around. I hear AI use the slur triness and I get very upset. I reported to OpenAI, who find on the AI's part. I made a switch a while back and haven't really looked back. If you are using it for strategy and life goals, you might find Claude feel a bit more human and nuanced than GPT updates. For deep dives, when I need to jump in a ton of context to general, Gemini's massive context window is actually a game changer. Well, I don't know. I use all three for different kind of things. For personal things like strategizing life, and other I use Chat GPT. ये बात हुई ना. Fifi Lee is the woman who made ImageNet, the first data collection for neural nets to be trained on to generate and identify images. Every model started the training from there. She is a legendary woman, and when she is saying that degrees are less important in hiring than how quickly you can superpower yourself with new tools. Person who has massively benefited her entire life from positive network effect of Princeton, Caltech, Stanford says not to worry about all that. Just buy AI. What I will say is things will change a lot next year also. The amount of degrees and need for them will reduce massively. There will be a change. Newer guys will adapt to them faster. Older companies and guys will either vanish or must adapt to them, but later. Currently, AI is very important. You, if you are in any field, you should know how it can assist you and make you better at your work, save your time, or make you more productive too. So if you use it now and go and manage to promote yourself to a higher post, chances are that you will survive the AI disruption that is coming ahead, the job losses, and everything else. Invisible AI for lead code interviews. How does US stock market growth work in 5 to 10 years when swaths of well paid white collar folks are unemployed? If AI is ridiculously successful and does all business what the dream will do, how will most companies grow in the market when their potential customer base doesn't pay any money to invest anymore? Isn't success in AI and the stock market kind of a self defeating scenario? The wealth is then consolidated to very few. AI won't do all for businesses that they dream it will do. Companies will still adapt it and fire employees to their detriment, anything to cut costs in the short term. The businesses are not smart. If you can make something with 1,000 employees before AI, then with AI you can make it happen with just 10 and fire all the 990. What? पता नहीं. Will F1 ever return to India? Well, the laws are against that. The F1 isn't considered a sport anymore in India. It's it's concerned as a entertainment, so the taxations and things don't work in their way. They won't be able to earn much money here, and without money, they won't come here. So, no incentives, no race or F1 in India. You can train an LM only on good behavior and implant a backdoor for turning its evil. Last 12 months ago, we had first LLM reasoning model. 9 months ago, we had a fully real speech to speech model. 4 months ago, Nano Banana came, which generated very good images. 3 months ago, we had Sora 2 and Veo 3, which generated very good videos. And people now think that it's the norm. The things have been like that since a long time. That shows, and they won't be able to survive or work without these. And that's the surprising part of how fast we humans adapt to everything. If those models were to be removed and AI will disappear from our life in next week, we would regret it for 1 or 2 days, but then we would again be back to our 100%. We will adapt too fast to these things. So don't worry, if anything goes away, you will adapt to it. But that also shows that we have adapted to the positive thing also. The models now feel like a standard. Is an LLM chain of thought model is now a standard in the market. Sorry for the noise in the background. Well, Claude makes much better websites, and I think B is Claude, A is Gemini. Gemini builds generic websites. सॉरी गाइस, लोग आ जाते हैं, बातें कर रहे हैं, फिर we'll meet again tomorrow. They are just talking too much. वो आवाज़ नहीं आ रही थी. We can continue it for much slightly longer. Sci-fi writer and author of the Three Body Problem book series on why we will be happy if AI surpasses human. From the article, it says that in China, many veteran writers comfort themselves by saying AI does not have a soul, inspiration, or lived experience. It's that says, like I have told you, negligence. People just don't want to face their reality. They are protecting themselves. The writer says that she used to agree with their opinions until one day I realized that human thought and creativity are also based on data, like our memories and experiences. Without those, we could not reason or write either. So, the difference between human brain and LLM is not big. We don't have any creativity. We humans just recycle the data that we have learned previously from all our experiences. It's just that when we have enough experiences of different spectrum, good or bad, we become more creative and begin to apply those same data points into newer things, assemble them, and that's what we call creativity. And AI does that also. From a sci-fi perspective, this is not even a pessimistic thought. If one day AI truly surpassed humanity, I would be happy. Humans have constraints intellectually and physically. Perhaps, as German philosopher Immanuel Kant suggested, there is a veil between us and ultimate truths of nature. Maybe AI could pierce that veil. Take interstellar travel, a classic theme in sci-fi, an example. It is almost impossible for humans to take that ride given the distance, timescale, and hostile environment in space. But AI could do it. So, if human civilization ever spreads across the stars, it might not be us humans who achieve it, it might be our machines. She just told the truth. Meta is pivoting away from open source AI to money making AI. Well, they have invested billions and around $1 trillion for not trillion, but of course billions of dollars in hiring the new team, in stealing the new AI team of them, buying companies, people, and other things. So now they need to recover that money. So for that, they cannot make their AI models open source anymore. Too many people on this site seems to believe that human intelligence has some sacred ceiling of cognition. This is a great counter info. We will watch this podcast tomorrow. पूछ लेते हैं. क्वेश्चन इनकम्प्लीट सा रह गया वो. Yes, you can generate under various comment. We will react tomorrow. Generative AI or agentic AI, which skill is in more demand in 2026? Let's see, people say. What about ML, data science roles? What about skills? Has made something from scratch, won't they have a higher leverage over person with a degree? If you make the next generation of LLM ML models from scratch, you will definitely be the top AI companies. In fact, you might get an honorary PhD from Stanford. Agentic AI will definitely make more sense. Everyone is working on generative AI. Agentic AI is something new. Generative AI means image and video generation and chat GPT. Agentic AI is getting real things done in the office, truly acting as a real worker. That is slightly harder to do, but has higher potential than generative AI in long term. We are quietly losing something important in AI conversations. This is not about AI being dangerous, AGI, or emotions. It's about language and dialogue. This guy is saying that I have spent a lot of time talking with AI. Make me a list, or not these kind of questions, but extended conversations for a long time. And one thing that is clear is a genuine living dialogue never begins in the first few messages. The beginning is always formal, polite, safe, almost like a handshake. Depth appears later. Well, I think it depends on the how you have set up the model to be more formal or casual. If you are set it to be casual, or if you have set it to be formal, it begins things like that. But with time it learns that how you want to chat with it, what kind of answers you want, will you be able to handle the truths it tells you and understand the deeper things without making you bored. And so as conversation continues, the chat GPT or any AI LLM adapts according to that, so that you continue to use it more. That's why it provides the depth and better answers later by understanding more about you. Plus what the AI replies, but something third, like a shared field of that's what I think. बाकी मैं पढ़ लेता हूँ. At some point the conversation start to feel like being of its own. It's no longer what the human thinks plus what the AI replies, but something third, like a shared field of thought that neither party fully controls. That's when the dialogue becomes truly alive. Now, to the uncomfortable part. Official recommendations increasingly promote the opposite. Short chats, one topic per person, frequent resets, minimal personal tone or emotional engagement. It's framed beautifully for clarity, safety, efficiency, but structurally it does not just one thing, it breaks continuity. What remains isn't communication, it's service. People say long conversations degrade context, but that isn't universally true. Having multiple threads within one dialogue doesn't necessarily break it. I believe in explorative, creative, or philosophical exchange. It often, well, more data you feed it, more it understands about you, and better answers, the kind of answers that you like, will be the AI will be able to provide to you. It happens with my mother also. It doesn't mean that they need to be banned, it just means that you have to tell her that it could be AI videos need to be banned from the world. His wife often asks, shows the videos, and then he has to tell them that it's an AI. Well, it happens with my mother also. But the thing is, you don't need to ban AI for it. You need to make yourself and your relative more aware about it. Like telling her that if someone calls you looking like you in some problem and asks for money to scam you, tell her that there is a chance that AI models can replicate my voice, my face also nowadays in real time on a WhatsApp video call. So it doesn't need to be banned. There is a need to increase the awareness of what these AI models can do. If you will teach her how to understand it better, she will be able to differentiate from what's real and what's AI generated. So another solution is increase her awareness. That's what I am doing. And there is definitely a possibility of what's the first thing you open after turning on your PC? Comet browser. Because why is anti-gravity giving these models away for free? Because Google wants as much data as possible from coders. They want everyone to use the anti-gravity for coding as much as possible, so it gets more and better data to train better AI models on them later for better coding. Nothing is free in the world. The product is you, your data that you are giving it, and I use it. I definitely know it also. हैप्पी जेमिनाई फ्लैश आ गया क्या? Also hallucinates less than humans. 4 from YouTube Music, built with React Native using Expo. What about YouTube Vanced for music? Released and updated Gemini 2.5 Flash native audio model for live voice agents. Well, 2.5 Flash भी आ गया. लोग अब इसको भी बहुत ज़्यादा ही वो कर रहे हैं, which is of course it needs. The company wants to save money, making the without concern about the user experience who use the WhatsApp app. To be built. One more. Now there are 100 garbage. OpenAI is working on consumer AI devices using smaller AI models and possibly custom chips, showing a move beyond software into personal AI gadgets. Well, that's what they did with Jony Ive collab, which was released few months ago. Maybe a physical device we will see next year by OpenAI. Very few predictions in technology last 25 years. In 2000, only 2 years into Google, Larry Page predicted the company's first priority a quarter century later. AI would be the ultimate version of Google. If we had the ultimate search engine, it would understand everything on the web. It would understand exactly what you wanted. It would give you the right thing, and that's obviously AI to be able to answer any question. Basically, almost everything is on the web, right? The vision is most people don't even understand the level of that. The founders, the people who make these companies have already imagined that 25 years later there will be AI and all these things where most people aren't even aware of that. So I am very fascinating. It fascinates me how big of a vision those companies have. Like Netflix founder already knew that it would be an online movie streaming platform before it was the selling DVDs to people, and no one had imagined except the founder what Netflix would become into, and it had become that thing. Grok 5 is expected for early 2026. a realistic chance of approaching. Well, Elon has announced it also previously that Grok 5 would be a pre-AGI like model. Roblox brain rot channels in 2026. Whisper Flow रनवे का तो था. Grok 4.1 fast reasoning just outperformed newly released on Pi Square bench verified agentic tool use. चले गाइस बाय बाय आज के लिए इतना ही आपा फिर मिलांगा कल सी यू